Hello and welcome to another Thoughts on Leadership. I've just been thinking a little bit about Christopher Columbus and what it was like for him heading off west. You know, the time that he headed off, the world was going through all sorts of imperialism and various issues of its own at that time. And he headed west, trying to prove that he was able to reach India by going the other way around the world. Quite a challenge if you think about it. Quite an adventure, really. He's going off into uncharted waters. He's going places that nobody has potentially been before. So here's a man who's getting his ships together and heading off into the sunset, if you like. What about the planning for something like that? You know, think about the planning needed for taking that journey. I mean, okay, there's certain things you need. You need, food and so forth. But there's so many unknowns that you're going to go through. And yet, he planned for it, he went, and even though he arrived in the Bahamas and thought he'd arrived on the Asian coast, the reality was that he had reached America and discovered America at that stage. So think about it in terms of what we're going through today. We're in uncharted waters. We're going through a time now when we're not sure what's going to happen. And yet, there's certain things we can focus on and get right. And the rest is going to be, well, we're just going to have to face it as it comes. Just like Christopher Columbus would have just had to face it when it came. Already, we've seen that some of the ships have sunk in the sea at the moment. The first storm came along and some companies have gone to the wall, they've closed down. And these were ships that were just unprepared for the challenges up ahead. These are ships that shouldn't have been sailing probably anyway, much less in times of economic turmoil. But going forward, what are you doing with your business? Are you trying to plan ahead? Are you being focused on the right things? Because I'm seeing a lot of organizations that are battening down the hatches and focusing inwardly at a time when I think it's important to look beyond and say, what will the world be like afterwards? Do you know what your business is going to need? Not just now through the recession, but for the time after the recession, whatever that looks like going forward. You see, wouldn't it be terrible to survive the recession and then collapse in the upturn? And that's potentially where some organizations, I think, are going to find themselves. You see, I'll challenge you that the type of things you need to be thinking about now are, have you got an outstanding product or service? Have you got an outstanding delivery mechanism? And have you got the cash flow to be able to deliver on it? And probably questions like that are the questions your whole business needs to be focused on. And notice the use of the word outstanding. You know, by outstanding, I mean something that differentiates you from your competitors, differentiates you in the marketplace, if you like. Are you clear about what that is? Are you getting that ready? Because when we come out of this recession, when we come out of this economic downturn that we're going through, whatever we want to call it, a depression or recession or whatever, we need to be ready for the upturn. And that's the point to be ready for. And I'm just amazed at how many organizations are just not thinking like that. You know, I had a phone call the day before yesterday. I phoned a company up just simply to ask them the price of a product. I had the model number, I had everything they needed to know. And the person who answered the phone to me said, you need to speak to Lee. I said, well, fine, put me through to Lee then, please. He said, what's your name and company name? So I gave him that information. And he then came back a second later and said, oh, I'm sorry, Lee's on the telephone. If you can leave me your telephone number and your email address and details, then I'll get Lee to phone you back. And I said to him, are you telling me that I've got the model number here and everything, that somebody there just cannot give me a price? It's not something you can put into your computer and just give me an immediate answer, that I'm going to have to wait for him to phone me back at his convenience? And his reply was, well, yes, if you're prepared to give me your email address and telephone number, then I can get that information for you. here's a company that's focused on, to me, was focused on enlarging their database and not looking after the customer. You could have a great product, but a lousy way of dealing. In other words, of getting it to your people. There's too many hurdles in your way. What is your business focusing on at this moment in time? Is it increasing your database? Or is it on preparing your products and service and your delivery mechanism and ensuring your cash flow is right so that you can provide something outstanding for your customers? Don't think just because there's a recession on that people don't want good service. People are looking for organizations that will give them that personal service, probably now more than ever. And the reason probably now more than ever is because they know that businesses are hungry for customers. And so they now more than ever know that you want my business, so I want back from you. And I want that service from you, I want that interest, I want to be treated properly as a customer and cared for. So what are you doing about getting your business ready, not just to survive through this period of time, but to be engaged in the right gear? If you ever wanted to overtake a car, it's about being in the right gear to be able to pull away. It's about coming to the foot of a hill and being in the right gear to be able to go up the hill. Are you in the right gear in your business to be able to come and take off at the time of the recession coming to an end? So I want you to consider these questions. Are you ready? How are you people looking at your business? How do you look at your business? Go and walk around your company. Listen to how people are talking. What are they talking about? Because that'll tell you where your mindset in your business is. Are you ready and able to respond quickly? Because it is going to be storms and there's going to be all sorts, the same as Columbus found on his journey. But it's your willingness to adapt, respond, and be in the right gear when the time comes that's going to make you a success on into the times after the recession. I hope this has given you something to think about. I am becoming disheartened finding organizations that are not thinking in this way, and I challenge you, even if you're working within your business and it's not your business as a whole, look at your team, your department, look at your people. Are they engaged in the right way? Are they focused in the right way? It's your job as the leader to make this happen. I hope this month's going to be a great month for you, and I look forward to seeing you again next month. Thanks for listening. Bye now.